Good morning or afternoon, students, depending on when you're watching this video. My name is Dinorah Boykin, and I am the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, San Antonio District Office, District Director. That is a lot to take in, right? So essentially what my job is that I supervise a staff of 6 compliance officers and 1 management assistant to make sure that we reach the agency's mission. The agency's mission is to protect workers and make sure that they are not being discriminated against. Specifically, we investigate businesses that do business with the government. So there's a wide variety of what we refer to as contractors who produce supplies and services like pens, paper, uniforms, or they provide different types of goods, food, consulting services as well. So I am going to attempt to answer some of the questions that I was asked. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this program. One of the questions was, what is my work setting like? Well, in the current global pandemic, I am very fortunate to be able to work from home. My work setting is a laptop, a calculator. I'll show you my laptop. I have this regulation book which essentially spells out all the laws that we enforce. I have a writing pad and a pen. So that is the gist of my work, what I actually physically use. The majority of the work happens up here with a lot of critical thinking, a lot of oversight. In today's setting, we are able to use different mediums like Skype or Microsoft Teams to chat with people. So even a phone is not necessarily necessary, but we do have a phone option as well. So I have my cell phone, which I'm using to record, but that's another item that I use. The type of education needed for this job specifically to be a compliance officer or to work as a district director, technically speaking, you only need a high school diploma. However, having a higher education like a bachelor's or a master's helps tremendously in this field. If you start out in a career intern program, if you have a master's degree, you earn substantially more than someone who has a bachelor's degree or someone who has a high school diploma. So higher education, critical, and you get compensated more for it. How did I end up in this role? Well, it's a little bit of a long story. So let me try to start from the beginning. My parents are from Mexico. They moved to the United States in their very early 20s. My dad was a migrant worker. He would work up north doing different types of labor jobs, and my mom stayed in South Texas, in Laredo, Texas, raising my younger sister. When my dad stopped doing migrant work, he started working with his dad in a family business, and he eventually launched his own business. He sells used vehicles and provides mechanical services. So my parents are what I would refer to as the American dream. They came here to the United States with very little education, practically none. They went up to elementary school in Mexico, and they managed to live their dreams, my dad, by managing and owning his own business, and with the help of my mom as well, and then raising a family. They instilled in us every day to make sure to study a lot, to learn a lot, because they believed that education would open doors for us. That and if we didn't have an education, our opportunities would be more limited, which I thank them for every day because it's very true. Growing up, I saw my parents dealing with many challenges, being new to the country, such as language barriers, economic hardships, um, different things that sometimes people just cultural, for example, being culturally aware of American customs. It's very difficult for someone who is not from here to move here and just start going with the flow of life in American culture. So they inspired me greatly to pursue my higher education goals. I attended the University of Texas at San Antonio, where I obtained my bachelor's in human resources and my MBA, which is a master's in business administration. Most people would say that with those types of degrees, one would probably be an HR director, a vice president of human resources, and that's what HR stands for, a consultant, some type of figure in the business world. I was an HR manager for about 5 years in a private company, and I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I was exposed to many things, but towards the end, I didn't like it anymore, and I didn't feel right about how the business was being managed and essentially putting profits first. For me, I couldn't do that anymore. That was not something that I felt good about every day, so I decided to look for another job. During my undergraduate degree, I did a thesis, which is an extensive research paper, pretty much, where I determined and assessed people's knowledge of employment rights. So, employment rights is something that I'm very passionate about. People always think, like, well, I don't, this is wrong, that there should be a law about this. But the fact of the matter is that even though you might think that it's wrong, there aren't laws that necessarily protect you. So there's a difference between what is right and wrong morally to you versus what the law is. And so in my job, what we do is we enforce the law when it comes to employment laws. Um, I was very fortunate to start my career back in 2009 with the Department of Labor and have moved on since. So now it's been over 11 years. Back in 2015, I had the opportunity for a promotion, and I moved with my husband as well. We moved to Houston. We were there for 18 months, and then an opportunity came open here in San Antonio, so we moved back. There have been many challenges throughout this journey of mine, and there continued to be challenges, which I'm okay with, because if it wasn't a challenge, it would not be fun. A lot of my job entails reading, a lot of extensive reading. I will admit I am a slow reader. It takes me longer to read through stuff. I have to look up words, and sometimes I have to read things 2 or 3 times in order to grasp them. Where I make it up is my math skills. I have excellent math and excellent Excel skills that make up for my lost time in my job. So those are some of my struggles that I face just throughout my job. There have been many struggles throughout my life in terms of just merely obtaining a higher education, how to navigate the college process. My parents did not go to college. No one else had left the house prior to me to attend college, so I had to figure out how to lease an apartment, my finances, basically being on my own with very little help, hands-on help. My parents supported me, they cheered me on, they were like, you can do it, but it was really up to me to figure things out. So, some words of advice, some encouragement that I have for you are the following. do what you love. Um, a few years ago, I had the opportunity to listen to former Secretary of Labor Tomas Perez during a speech in San Antonio. And one of the things that he said, it was something to this effect, was that when you enjoy what you do, it will not feel like work. And I think a lot of your educators that you're with will tell you the same thing. They really enjoy what they're doing. So pursue something that you find meaning in, that you enjoy, because you're in it for the long run. Don't be worried about change. Change is good. Roll with it. Things are going to change, and that's okay. The people who adapt to change are the ones that will make it in the long run. Um, that's been something that I've dealt with my whole entire life because of just the dynamics of my family, of how um, my parents were immigrants to the United States. Really pursue a higher education as much as you can. Try. Um, don't worry so much about how difficult it is, because it is difficult. It takes a lot of work, but at the end, it's going to pay you dividends that nothing can buy. It's only a short time of your life that you're having to make a sacrifice. So I highly encourage you to seek a higher education, whether it be in a technical school or if you want to pursue a bachelor's degree or further. I highly encourage you to do that, because having an education will open doors for you that would normally not be open if you don't have a higher education. So, with that, probably the last thing that I would say is don't be scared. Don't be scared. If an opportunity presents itself, you take it, you go for it, because it's presented to you for a reason. People believe in you, and the opportunities will be presented. So, take it. So, with that, that is all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my clip, my video, and I wish you very happy holidays this season. Study hard, stay in school, stay committed, and do the right thing. Bye.